Hello gamers, today we're going to be doing a review for Sonic Mania. I know it's a little late, but as you know I don't get games early, so this is going to be my review. Now, Sega's been failing pretty fucking hard, especially with Sonic. I mean, nothing was more apparent of that than their, 30th, I think it was 30th anniversary shit show that they had. Yeah, that was a fucking disaster, so they really needed a home run. And I feel like Sonic Mania pretty much is their home run, but I mean, it could spell disaster for us as well in the long run. But anyways, let's go get into further details on that with the review.
Shut the fuck up!
Alright guys and gals, I'm doing this review like completely unscripted, like no notes or anything, so please excuse me if I ramble on a bit. It definitely is bound to happen. Now, if you don't know Sonic the Hedgehog because you've been living under a rock your entire fucking life, well, first off, welcome to the internet. But secondly, Sonic the Hedgehog originally came out in 1991 in June, and was, pretty much instantly a classic. Became the mascot for Nintendo, and pretty much has been keeping their head above water just barely. The games are fairly simple in themselves and all about really going fast, but throughout the game you're going to need to get slow to get through everything, and I'm sure there's a lesson to learn there somewhere, but most of the time I'm just pissed off because I'm not going fast the entire time. Anyways, Sonic originally came out on the Sega Genesis, and pretty much from all the games released, you wouldn't think they could do any wrong. But if you've ever played any Sonic game past the Sega CD, you know that concept is very wrong. Yeah, Sonic has had some super flops and really is kind of needed a pick-me-up. It's needed a really good game. And that's not to say that none of the games have been any good. There are apparently a few diamonds in the rough. But at the same time, none of them have captured us as much as the original Sonic games. Now, I definitely have a deep sense of nostalgia for Sonic, because back whenever I was a kid, me and my little sister used to play it, pretty much all day, every day, whenever I was over there to visit my dad. So, having this game now and being able to play with my son and my wife, it's definitely an amazing feeling. And honestly, where this game hits hardest is in nostalgia, so it works perfectly. Now, for some pros on the game, you gotta, of course, mention that this is another, 2D platforming Sonic that just is so reminiscent of the old ones that, it's instantly loved by pretty much everyone playing it. At least anyone who, loved the original ones is probably gonna love this game. And if you're saying, why should I buy this one? I already own all the originals. Well, while the game does borrow from the original games quite a bit, it's also got some new stuff in it that just makes it really refreshing and fun to play. Honestly, in a lot of ways it feels like the Sonic game we should have fucking gotten years ago. Which, honestly, probably makes it feel better than it truly is. But at the same time, this one's price is not that bad at all. I think just for download it goes for $20, which, I mean, like I've stated several times before, you've paid far more for far fucking less. Another big thing this one has going for it is, of course, the music. Like, other Sonic games have always had, catchy tunes that get stuck in your head, but they definitely did a good job of improving the music on this one. I'm liking it a lot. but probably this game's biggest pro that it has going for it are the boss fights. See, boss fights in the older Sonics were, of course they were gimmicky, but really all you were doing is, jumping on top of Dr. Robotnik. The boss battles in here, they feel a lot more original and have enough diversity to where it doesn't feel like you're just fighting the same boss slightly harder each time. And by the way, this game is quite a bit harder than the original Sonics, which is a little bit sad because just like the original Sonics, whenever you die, you're going to be starting from the very beginning. But at the same time, whenever you beat the game, it's more of a sense of accomplishment. And as good as this game is, that's where positives are going to end. Okay, starting off with the negatives on this game, I'm going to have to go with that the game is so short. Considering the price and also that, like I said, once you die, you're going to be starting over from point, A, it's not that big of a deal. But because this game is so fun, you're going to want to play more. And whenever more, requires going through the same, seven stages constantly, it's gonna get repetitive. Despite how much changing your character can change your gameplay. Which, by the way, there are 3 characters in this game, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, of course. I just don't feel like they change up the game enough to justify playing the 7 stages over and over and over again. Now, lastly, for my negatives, I'm going to have to go with the fact that fucking Sega is the publishers of this game. Which shouldn't be a fucking negative. I mean, Sega is the group that created Sonic, but, just like Nintendo, Sega has no clue why the fuck anything was ever good. Luckily, the game was actually developed by a fan of the games who had created some fan games and also worked on, ports of the games to other such consoles. But anyways, I had bought the physical release of the game, which was a collector's edition, which, came with a bunch of stuff, because I was super excited about the game. I wanted to support it, mostly because I had heard that, buying Sonic Mania meant they would make more games like this. But what me and everyone else who bought the physical copy of this game, discovered was there's no physical copy of the game. They just give you a download code, which by its own means isn't that big a deal. I mean, I do love having physical copies, but as long as I've got the whole collector's edition thing, I don't care that much about owning the physical copy. I still have something to display. Being a collector, that is important to me. However, the download codes, and once again, I'm not sure, who's really to blame for this, Sega or the Christian Whitehead dude who had, programmer who had done the fan games. But whoever printed off these download codes and made them, they didn't validate them the week before these games came out, so you couldn't use your download code until after 4 p.m. Central Time on the PSN store. So I had paid $50 extra in order to get the game 16 hours late. Later than everyone else had gotten it. Yeah, that's a real fucking bummer. Mostly because it cut into my plans for streaming, but also because, I pretty much just sat around waiting the entire day for time to fucking pass so I could play my brand new game I spent $70 on. Like I said, not sure who exactly is at fault here, but it really just took away from Sonic Mania. And also remind me how much of a small-time fucking streamer slash, YouTube entertainer I am. If I was a bigger name, I would have gotten this, or bigger name in gaming videos, I would have ended up getting this game a whole week earlier for a review, for free. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about having to buy my games like everyone else. It's just at moments like this, it's even more of a fucking bummer. So, in closing, I'm giving this game a review score of 8 out of 10. And I really do believe that you should buy this game. Especially if you love Sonic, there's almost no reason not to buy it. Besides, like I said, I heard that this was going to determine whether or not they're going to make more of these games, and if the numbers add up, there's definitely going to be more of these games. I am also excited for Sonic Forces, I believe is what it's called. But I would rather be getting more games like this. And even if you've never played a Sonic game before, this would be an excellent place to start. We certainly could use more games like this from Sega in the future. And that's going to be all for this review. Be sure to like and comment. Feel free to subscribe, I would certainly appreciate that. But most importantly, don't forget to take care of yourselves, guys.